There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart, when your heart is heavy, your strength is drained, and you wonder why the ground beneath your feet is shaking. You cry out, asking, "Why me? Why now? What did I do to deserve this breaking?" But I came to remind you today, sometimes God isn't punishing you. He's positioning you. See, God never wastes pain. The broken pieces you see scattered across your life are not signs of failure. They are ingredients for your future. You may feel shattered, bruised, betrayed, or abandoned. You may feel like your confidence has cracked, your identity is shaken, your purpose is buried under the rubble of disappointment. But hear me, breaking always comes before rebuilding. A strong woman isn't born out of comfort. She is forged in the fire of rejection, shaped by the storms of life, and built on the ashes of what tried to destroy her. You're not being broken because you're weak. You're being broken because God is stripping away what no longer serves you: the insecurity, the fear, the people who couldn't see your worth, the environments that kept you small. He's tearing down the weak foundation so he can rebuild you to stand taller, stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Sometimes God has to isolate you to elevate you. He has to separate you from familiar surroundings so he can plant you in the soil of purpose. The betrayal, it was necessary. The heartbreak, it was a lesson. The closed doors, they protected you from rooms too small for the greatness inside of you. I know it hurts. I know you're tired. But don't curse your breaking season, thank God for it. Because the woman you are becoming cannot be built on weak structures. There is strength rising in you that the enemy can't stop. There is power birthing in you that no circumstance can suffocate, but it requires the breaking. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified through fire. And women of destiny are refined through seasons of struggle. You are not being buried, you are being planted. And when the time is right, you will rise not as the same woman who entered the storm, but as a force of strength, wisdom, resilience, and grace. The breaking is not your ending. It is your preparation for a comeback greater than anything you've imagined. So dry your tears, square your shoulders, lift your head. The breaking is temporary, but the woman God is building in you. She is unstoppable. She is unbreakable. She is rising, and no weapon formed against her will prosper. Stay the course, embrace the breaking, because on the other side of the pain is the strongest, most powerful version of you, and the world is waiting to meet her. There comes a time in every woman's life when everything feels like it's falling apart. The plans you made crumble in front of you, relationships break, opportunities slip away, and suddenly you find yourself questioning everything. It's easy to believe in those moments that you are being punished, that life is unfair, that you must have done something wrong to deserve the pain, the heartbreak, the rejection. But the truth is, sometimes the breaking is not a punishment at all, it's preparation. God doesn't allow breaking seasons to destroy you, but to equip you for something far greater than you can imagine. Many people misunderstand the process of breaking. They think it's a sign of weakness or failure, but in reality, breaking is the beginning of transformation. When a seed is planted into the soil, it must break open before new life can emerge. Without that breaking, there would be no growth, no roots, no fruit. You are no different. Your breaking is a divine process designed to prepare you for your next season, your higher calling, your true strength. You see, if you stayed comfortable all your life, you would never grow beyond your limitations. If you never faced adversity, how would you learn perseverance? If you never experienced rejection, how would you discover your true worth? The uncomfortable truth is that growth rarely happens when things are easy. It happens when you are stretched, tested, and yes, broken. It happens when everything familiar is stripped away, and you are left with nothing but your faith, your will, and the quiet whisper of God reminding you, this is not the end. God's preparation often feels like loss before it feels like victory. He removes people who don't support your destiny. He shuts doors that lead to dead ends. He closes chapters that no longer serve your growth. It feels painful in the moment because we become attached to comfort zones, to familiar routines, to predictable outcomes. But if you only stayed where it was safe, you'd never discover the woman you are capable of becoming. Every strong woman you admire has walked through a breaking season. They've faced the nights of tears, the mornings of doubt, the silent battles with insecurity, the moments when they wanted to give up. But they didn't. They allowed the breaking to refine them, to teach them, to strengthen them from the inside out. And now they stand taller, not because life spared them from pain, but because they were prepared through it. Preparation through breaking teaches endurance. It reveals hidden strength. It exposes weaknesses that need healing. It builds character that can withstand life's storms. A woman who has been broken and rebuilt carries a wisdom that cannot be learned from books, only from experience. She knows how to rise, how to fight, how to persevere because she has been through the fire and came out stronger. So when life feels like it's falling apart, remember, it's not punishment, it's preparation. God is rebuilding you piece by piece, shaping you for the next chapter. The breaking is a necessary part of becoming the woman He destined you to be. You may not understand it now, but trust that every tear, every setback, every closed door is a part of the process that prepares you for greater strength, greater wisdom, and greater purpose. Strength is not something that simply appears overnight. It is not handed to you on a silver platter, nor is it the result of an easy, comfortable life. True strength, the kind of strength that anchors you through life's fiercest storms, is forged through struggle. It is built in the hard places, in the painful seasons, in the moments when giving up feels easier than pressing on. Every strong woman you see today carries a story of battles fought, tears shed, and silent prayers whispered in the dark. Her strength wasn't inherited, it was developed in the depths of adversity. Struggle is life's greatest teacher. It exposes who you really are and shows you what you're made of. You may have thought you were weak, but then came rejection and you stood tall. You believed you couldn't handle heartbreak, but then came betrayal and you kept moving. You doubted your ability to survive loss, but then life shattered your plans, and yet, here you are. Every challenge, every disappointment, every sleepless night has been molding you, shaping you, transforming you into a woman with unshakable resilience. People often admire strong women, but they rarely want to endure what it takes to become one. Strength is the reward of the woman who has been knocked down and still chooses to rise. It is the product of walking through rejection and not losing hope. It is the result of facing betrayal and choosing to love again. Strength is born in the moments when your heart feels like it's breaking, but your spirit whispers, keep going. Those aren't just struggles. They are divine assignments to make you stronger than you ever thought possible. A woman becomes strong when she refuses to let her circumstances define her. The world may try to label you based on your past, your mistakes, or your failures, but your strength is not determined by what happened to you, it's determined by how you respond to what happened. You may have been overlooked, underestimated, or undervalued, but every single one of those experiences is fuel for your growth. Rejection didn't break you, it revealed your resilience. Setbacks didn't destroy you, they exposed your inner warrior. In fact, some of the greatest women of strength didn't even realize how powerful they were until life tested them. It was only when they stood face with failure that they discovered perseverance. It was only when they were abandoned that they discovered their worth. It was only when life stripped away their comfort zones that they found their courage. Struggle has a way of awakening parts of you that you never knew existed. It introduces you to the version of yourself that can overcome, that can fight back, that can stand firm even when everything feels uncertain. The beautiful thing about strength forged through struggle is that it lasts. Temporary confidence can be shaken by small inconveniences, but real strength, the kind refined by heartbreak, rejection, and loss, becomes your foundation. It keeps you grounded when life throws its worst at you. It empowers you to lift others, to lead, to build, and to rise with grace, even when the weight of the world rests on your shoulders. So don't despise the struggle. It is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. The process is painful, yes, but every tear, every trial, every fight is developing a version of you that is bold, fearless, and unstoppable. Strength isn't born from ease, it is forged through the fires of life. And one day, you'll look back and realize that everything that tried to break you only made you stronger. There are seasons in life when everything familiar begins to fall away. People you thought would always be by your side disappear. Doors that once seemed wide open slam shut, and the comfort zones you clung to suddenly become uncomfortable. In these moments, it can feel like your world is crumbling, but what often feels like loss is actually divine removal. God removes what no longer serves you, not to hurt you, but to prepare you for the version of yourself that you are becoming. He takes away the unnecessary weight so you can rise. We often form attachments to people, habits, environments, and mindsets that hold us back. Sometimes, without realizing it, we settle in spaces that limit our growth because they feel safe. We stay connected to relationships that drain us, tied to routines that keep us stagnant, or loyal to environments that no longer align with who we are destined to be. But God, in His wisdom, knows when it's time for a change even when we resist it. And so, He begins the painful but necessary process of removing the things, people, and situations that no longer serve our purpose. It doesn't always make sense when it's happening. You might feel abandoned, rejected, or confused. You might question why a friend betrayed you, why a relationship ended, or why a door you prayed for suddenly closed. But behind the scenes, God is orchestrating a transformation. He's stripping away what's beneath your potential so you can stand in the fullness of your power. Those people who couldn't see your worth, they were never meant to be part of your next chapter. That door that closed, it was too small for the woman you're becoming. Often, the greatest hindrance to our growth is comfort. We get comfortable with dysfunction, familiar with mediocrity, and attached to places where we're merely tolerated instead of celebrated. But God refuses to let you stay in spaces that diminish you. He removes what you thought you needed, what you thought you couldn't live without, to reveal that you are capable of so much more. He interrupts your plans to align you with His purpose, and though it feels like loss, it's actually a setup for elevation. God is strategic. He sees the unseen and knows the future you're walking into. So when He starts removing people from your life, it's not rejection, it's protection. That relationship that ended may have spared you from greater heartbreak. That friendship that faded may have saved you from betrayal that would have derailed your destiny. That door that slammed shut may have redirected you toward an opportunity beyond what you could imagine. It may hurt now, but in time you'll understand the blessing hidden within the loss. This process of removal is also about identity. As long as you're surrounded by voices that limit you, you'll never fully step into your power. God removes what no longer serves you so he can reveal the version of you that was buried under fear, insecurity, and doubt. The removal is not rejection, it's refinement. You are being stripped down to your core so the strongest, most resilient, most authentic version of you can emerge. When you look back, you'll see that everything removed from your life created space for something greater. You'll realize that you didn't lose anything that was meant for you. What God removes, he replaces, and what he replaces always aligns with your growth, your purpose, and your destiny. Even in the discomfort of loss, trust that you are being prepared for more. Sometimes the only way to rise is to first release. There are times when God has to pull you away from everything and everyone you thought you needed. It feels like isolation. It feels like abandonment. Suddenly, the people you used to lean on aren't there. The places you found comfort in no longer feel right. The routine you depended on is interrupted. You start questioning why everything familiar is fading, why connections are breaking, and why you're being set apart. But what feels like isolation is often divine preparation. God is isolating you not to punish you, but to position you for elevation. When you're surrounded by noise, distractions, and people's opinions, it's easy to lose sight of your true identity. It's easy to settle into roles that make others comfortable while silencing the deeper calling within you. But God loves you too much to let you stay hidden under layers of limitations, fear, and complacency. So he separates you. He quiets the noise. He takes you to a place where it's just you and him, where your purpose can be refined, your vision can be restored, and your strength can be built without the interference of outside voices. It's during these isolated seasons that clarity comes. You begin to see the difference between who you truly are and who the world told you to be. You realize that not everyone can go where God is taking you. Some relationships were only meant for the previous version of you. Some environments were only designed for your past level, not your next one. And though their absence hurts, it's necessary. God knows that elevation requires separation. You can't carry dead weight into your destiny. Isolation reveals your hidden strength. When you no longer have others to lean on, you discover how much endurance, resilience, and wisdom you truly carry. You find that your worth isn't tied to validation from others. Your strength isn't dependent on applause or approval. In the quiet, isolated places, you learn to stand on your own. You learn to trust your instincts, to sharpen your discernment, and to lean fully on God. Sometimes the elevation God has for your life is so significant, the foundation needs to be rebuilt in solitude. You can't elevate with shaky self-belief. You can't lead with unresolved insecurities. You can't walk into new levels of purpose carrying old wounds. Isolation provides the space for healing, reflection, and rebuilding. It strips away the distractions so you can focus on growth. It removes the masks so your true, powerful self can emerge. It's easy to resent isolation, to view it as rejection or failure, but isolation is often the highest form of protection. God separates you to shield you from influences that could compromise your calling. He distances you from environments that could water down your vision. He clears the space around you so that when the time is right, your elevation is unhindered. You're not being left behind, you're being set apart. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. What looks like loneliness is actually the sacred space where God works the deepest transformations. The conversations you have with yourself during this time, the faith you build in the silence, the confidence you develop without applause, all of it becomes the foundation for the woman who will walk boldly into the next chapter of her life. Embrace the isolation. It's not the end, it's the beginning of your elevation. In this space, God is positioning you for greater, and when the doors finally open, you'll be ready to walk through them fully equipped, fully confident, and fully prepared to rise. There is a version of you that the world hasn't seen yet, a version of you that is bold, unshakable, and powerful beyond measure. But that version isn't born in easy seasons. She emerges through fire, through pain, through breaking. You see, the woman you are becoming cannot be built without the storms that test your foundation. Every trial, every disappointment, every setback is birthing the strongest version of you, the version of you that is unstoppable. It's easy to believe strength comes from appearance, titles, or accomplishments, but real strength is developed in hidden places, in the moments when no one is watching, when life presses you beyond your limits, and when giving up feels like the only option. But you don't give up. You push forward even when your heart is heavy and your spirit is tired. That's how an unstoppable woman is built, not through ease, but through endurance. Pressure produces power. Diamonds, one of the hardest and most beautiful substances on earth, are formed under immense pressure and heat. Without the crushing force, they remain hidden in the earth, rough and unrefined. In the same way, the trials you face, the breaking you endure, the hardships that shake your confidence, they are all shaping you. They are forging your character, sharpening your mind, strengthening your spirit, and preparing you for a life of purpose. You cannot become unstoppable without first being uncomfortable, but here's the truth many overlook. The breaking process doesn't just reveal your strength, it exposes your weaknesses so they can be healed. It strips away the illusions of control, pride, insecurity, and fear that silently limit you. You learn through every challenge that your worth isn't defined by circumstances, your faith isn't dependent on comfort, and your future isn't tied to other people's opinions. You become rooted in something deeper, an unshakable belief in who you are and what you're capable of becoming. An unstoppable woman carries scars, but she wears them as proof of survival, not as symbols of defeat. Every scar tells a story of overcoming, of rising, of fighting through tears and doubts, of refusing to be defined by what tried to break her. The heartbreak you endured, the rejection you faced, the failures that threatened to silence your dreams, they were not your ending. They were your initiation into becoming a woman who cannot be shaken by life's temporary storms, and with every test you gain wisdom. You start to see setbacks as setups for something greater. You understand that delays are not denials, they are divine pauses for preparation. You recognize that not everyone can walk with you into your future, and that's okay. You stop clinging to what drains your energy and start aligning with what fuels your growth. You stop seeking validation from people and start standing firm in your God-given worth. The woman who is being birthed through your breaking is bold enough to take risks, wise enough to walk away from what no longer serves her, strong enough to carry her dreams, and courageous enough to walk in her purpose. She knows her worth, understands her calling, and refuses to shrink for the comfort of others. Your breaking season is building her the unstoppable woman who rises, who leads, who loves herself fiercely, and who stands tall regardless of the battles behind her. So don't fear the breaking, lean into it. It is producing a version of you the world cannot silence, cannot intimidate, and cannot stop. The unstoppable woman is on the rise, and she is you. It's easy to believe that when life breaks you, when everything feels buried under disappointment, failure, or heartbreak, that it's the end of your story. But you're not being buried, you're being planted. There's a powerful difference. Being buried suggests finality, but being planted means growth, rebirth, and transformation are on the way. Even though it feels dark, even though you can't see the sunlight, even though the soil of life feels heavy on your shoulders, you are not finished, you are just beginning. A seed cannot grow until it is planted deep beneath the surface, hidden from the world, pressed under the weight of soil. It might seem lifeless from above, but under the surface something is happening. The seed is breaking open, roots are forming, strength is building, and new life is preparing to emerge. The same is true for you. Your breaking season feels dark because it's meant to. The silence, the isolation, the uncertainty, all of it is part of the planting process. You've been placed in a season of development, not destruction. Sometimes God has to cover you for a while to keep you hidden from the world, so He can work on the parts of you that need healing, growth, and strength. It feels like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, your faith is deepening, your character is maturing, your vision is being refined, and your roots are stretching into solid ground. When the time is right, you will rise not as the same woman who entered the dark season, but as someone stronger, wiser, and prepared to handle the weight of the blessings coming your way. The planting process requires patience. Seeds don't sprout overnight, and neither does personal growth. There will be days when you wonder if you're making progress, moments when the darkness makes you question your purpose, times when the silence feels suffocating. But trust this, just because you can't see the growth doesn't mean it isn't happening. You are becoming stronger in ways that will only reveal themselves when your season of rising arrives. Being planted also means transformation. A seed doesn't stay a seed, it becomes something entirely new. Likewise, the woman you were before this season will not be the same woman who rises from it. Your mindset will be sharper. Your confidence will be unshakable. Your purpose will be clearer. You'll carry the lessons learned in the dark into the light, equipped to face new challenges, ready to embrace opportunities, and bold enough to walk fully in your calling. But growth demands surrender. The seed has to let go of its former shape to become something greater. You too must release the old versions of yourself, the fear, the doubt, the insecurities, the limitations, so that you can step into your new identity. The breaking apart of your old self isn't punishment. It's the pathway to your next level. It's in the breaking, in the planting, that your true strength takes root. You were never buried to be forgotten. You were planted to rise. The darkness that surrounds you now is only temporary. The silence, the isolation, the hiddenness, they are not the end of your story. They are preparation for your emergence, your growth, your elevation. The woman you are becoming is rooted in strength, grounded in purpose, and ready to flourish when the season shifts. So, embrace the soil, embrace the silence. Know that even when you feel hidden, you are being prepared. The day is coming when you will rise from the ground stronger than ever, fully bloomed, and ready to take your place as the powerful woman you were always destined to be.